The Omniverse, the seventh central sun of illumination and the Milky Way galaxy, planet Earth and human consciousness. By Judith Kusel. Webpage, www.judithkusel.com. The Omniverse, the infinity of creation and the cosmic, is in a mass flux now as it is busy reinventing itself, and therefore the Milky Way galaxy is moving back to its original place in the cosmos under the great seventh central sun, and with it to Andromeda. This is affecting the Earth, as part of the solar system within the greater Milky Way galaxy and its counter-galaxy, which is cosmically known as Milkyway. This massive shift has therefore activated certain star portals in the Earth, which have lain dormant for billions of years, since the first civilization started on Earth. At that time, everything was seventh dimensional and attuned to the seventh central sun, which the sun of illumination and therefore hold the fires of illumination, and the whole higher omnipotent keys and codes of illumination, and the higher cosmic consciousness states and superconscious energy fields. The superconscious energy fields are programmed to carry the keys and codes of all life and life forms, and therefore all which holds life and is conscious. It links directly with the co-creative energy force of the divine, as held within the masculine divine and feminine divine, and the fires of illumination which are created when they merge as one, to create cosmically. The illumined state of being and consciousness is the highest evolutionary state of being and is therefore that of enlightenment itself. It expands into the divine consciousness and therefore is ever expanding upon itself. The consciousness of each planet, within each galaxy or star systems, is programmed according the energies and superconsciousness fields as held in the central sun, to which they originally were programmed to belong to before the wars of heavens had some galaxies being blown up and greater chaos reigned. So, via the Milky Way galaxy, planet Earth's whole energy fields and energy systems were carefully programmed to adhere to and therefore react to the seventh central sun and its superconsciousness energy fields. Encoded within the Earth, when it was created, the first co-creators then created energy systems and energy fields, which when fully activated would hold not only the keys and codes of illumination and the fires of illumination, but would also hold the encodes of all life and life forms on the planet, and therefore then acts like a vast network of conscious energy fields, which work in conjunction with the Milky Way galaxies and the seventh central sun. I am sharing this today, mainly because I have worked intensively with these mass conscious energy fields in the last few years, and in the process, have gained a great respect for infinite core of intelligent consciousness of such fields. The divine omnipotence literally lives, breathes, sings, projects, expands, creates, etc. through these fields and the 12 to 24 great central suns. Each central sun is fully conscious and therefore programmed to hold a certain collective keys and codes for the rest of creation. Thus, each central sun will work in a unique way, in storing, creating, recreating, and thus feeding or expanding, or creating energy fields, according to the knowledge, technology and advanced energy systems it contains. It is the central hub and it holds the sun disks of illumined knowledge, thus the infinite core knowledge of all that is and being created. The human mind cannot hold this information, because it shut down 3/4 of its mind capacity when Atlantis fell, because the abuse of the mind powers. In the process, so much of the human mind's capacity to comprehend such enormous conscious energy fields has been purposefully shut down, as he sunk lower than the animal kingdom and now had to go through the evolutionary process again, to grow in consciousness and therefore then to finally can break through the barriers separating the fourth, fifth, sixth, and seventh dimensional state of being. In the beginning, when all these energy fields were laid down and activated, the planet was in the seventh dimensional state, and therefore the consciousness level was way above anything we can even imagine now. That is why, one needs to reconnect to the soul and soul groups to finally start to work with these fields and not have the mind going into overdrive and therefore short-circuiting. The soul is ever conscious, and is ever programmed to tap into the central sun as originally was created in. Where the soul origin is galactically, and cosmically, there lies the keys and codes, and therefore the soul will then access what it has been programmed to, per its galaxy of origin. Each galaxy in turn, has been programmed and created per the central sun it belongs to, as said, but there are other factors too, which come into equation. Each galaxy is programmed to be tuned in cosmically to the central sun it belongs to, as originally created. This will be the ability to work with the superconsciousness energy fields, and the full immense knowledge and storehouses of energy field knowledge, technology, and divine knowing it has been created to contain. With each galaxy, the solar systems then are tuned into the galaxy it belongs to, and each planet within such a system is programmed to tune into solar system and then via the solar system to the galaxy and then to central sun it belongs to. The soul who were first created within these galaxies belonging to a certain central sun, will therefore be created to be tuned into the same central sun, via their galaxy of origin. With this the soul has its own tonal chord, sound frequency, and its own color rays. This means essentially that the soul can tune in via its higher soul transmitters into the higher systems, as each soul has unique keys and codes encoded within it, to be able to do so. This is something very important to grasp, with the massive shifts of consciousness we in now, and the planetary and galaxy shifting, we must reconnect to our own souls, to be able to tap into the vaster consciousness energy fields. If we are not tuned in, we will not be able to communicate cosmically, for the communication systems are different than human beings can currently use and create. Your soul in fact is cosmically created to have its own set of communication systems already in place. It is just that we have forgotten how to use these systems, and more than this, how to amplify the communication systems via our own planet, and our own galaxy and our galaxy of soul birth, and then to tune in the central sun we belong to. The planet though is now consciously tuning in and returning to her original state. Therefore, as she moves into a much higher frequency band and become more and cosmically reactivated again, humans will not be able to sustain life on her, unless they move into that higher dimensional state with her. The shift must come from the soul, the heart, and then the mind. There is a hidden order to this which few people comprehend. The limited mind cannot go where the soul can. The mind is finite and the soul is infinite. Therein contained lie the central key to understanding all life in the Omniverse. Who tries to write the soul consciousness out of anything, is only short-circuiting him or herself. Infinite wisdom lies in the understanding that unless we consciously start tuning in, and consciously allow the opening of our higher transmitting abilities, and the higher reconnection to the seventh central sun, which we originally belonged to, we will not be able to assimilate the energy changes now happening and to come. Let those who have inner rise and inner knowing, understand. Let those who have inner ears and are tuned in, hear. Let those who are conscious enough to understand this message, understand. Judith Kusel. www.judithkusel.com. Soul readings, which help you to reconnect to your own soul, galaxy of origin, tonal chord, soul colors, soul name, soul group name, www.judithkusel.com, readings. www.judithkusel@wordpress.com